You're now listening to the 11:30 podcast. Enjoy the show. Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is, man. Welcome back, everyone, to the 11:30 podcast. What's good, everybody doing out there? Good morning. Yes, appreciate everyone joining me back here for the podcast. You know what time it is. It's not 7:30. It's 11:30. It's time for the podcast. Good morning to everyone who's listening to me on EB Radio. Thank you guys so much. Good morning to everyone who's joining me on YouTube. Appreciate everyone coming back for the show. Appreciate everyone tuning in. If you're new to the 11:30 podcast, subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to the 11:30 podcast on YouTube. Like it, leave a comment, and do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys know, like I said, man, it's Wednesday. It's time for the podcast. I got an amazing guest that's going to be joining me here this week on the podcast. My guy, Quincy. Yes, Quincy. He's the host of Talk to Q Radio show. I've been chopping it up with my guy in the Pod Squad group and the podcasting groups, and I, also thought it was amazing, to have my guy come on the show and just chat with him and chop it up with him, man. So he's been very, very dope in supporting me. So thought I'd just reach out and just return the favor, man. So my guy Quincy is going to be joining me here on the podcast this week. But before we get to that, shout out my guest who was on last week, the host of All Things Relationship, Friends with Billy, the podcast, my guy Billy G. Williams. Appreciate you for coming on the show, man. For real. Dope time. Chopping it up. It's the first episode of the new year. Yo, it was definitely awesome. But you gotta know, we ain't gonna waste no more time. We're gonna get into the show with my guy Quincy. Yo, Quincy, how's it going, my guy?
Man, Dre, what's good, bro? So good to be here, man. I appreciate you having me on.
No problem, man. How's your day been? I thank you for joining me on your podcast this week.
Well, thanks for having me, man. It's a little different being a guest because I don't have to do all the heavy lifting. So it's a little unique for me to be able to sit back and answer questions and respond. But my week has been pretty good so far. It kind of started off a little rough with a power outage early in the week in the middle of the morning for no reason. But, work past that and, it's going to be a good week.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good week. Don't let nothing hold you down. Obviously we have little stuff like that that's going to, try to get in our way though. But I hope your day is going to go well and stuff. Happy New Year's, man. How was your holidays and stuff?
Well, thank you. It was pretty cool. It was pretty chill. I'm a big sports fan, and there's plenty of football to watch. So just kind of kick back and enjoy that. Got to hang out with a little family back around Christmas, but didn't do too much. Kept it kind of small. But overall, I enjoyed my holiday, man.
Okay, cool. You say you're a big sports fan. Who's your team?
In the NFL, I'm a Cowboys fan. Okay. That may not be popular to those in the DMV area, but
yes.
But yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm a Lakers fan, and I'm an old school Lakers fan, like back with Norm Nixon, Magic Johnson, Byron Scott, those guys in the 80s. Mm-hmm. But I still rock with them, even though I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. But I respect what the dude is doing as far as his game. I just don't like how he tears teams apart like he does,
Okay, cool. I'm a Lakers fan, big Lakers fan. It really shattered me once, a couple of years ago when Kobe passed away. And
yeah.
You just mentioned you're a Cowboys fan. You guys are going to be taking on the 49ers and in the playoffs and stuff like that. How you feel about that? You think you guys got a good chance of going far?
I did not want to see San Francisco or Philly because their run game is our Achilles heel. So I think they're going to have problems with the 49ers this weekend, man. So if they get out to an early start and force Garoppolo to pass, I think they'll be just fine. But if they allow them to stay in that game and continue to run the ball, they could be in trouble.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm on my playoffs hopes for my team. I was saying it last week here on the podcast. It's all over. My Baltimore Ravens. We had a chance. Yeah. But much respect goes to Ben Roethlisberger. 18-year career. Any game could be his last game. So this past weekend with the Raiders going into the playoffs. Now Ben Roethlisberger, now he's in also. So yeah, I was a little disappointed that we didn't go on. We lost like a good couple of games leading up to like 6 games, less than like 3 or 4 points,
Yeah,
and it was very disappointing. So
yeah.
yeah,
If Lamar's healthy though, I think you all get in.
yeah. When he get back healthy, hopefully we have a real good shot next time. So, other
Mhm.
than that, man, yeah. When I was trying to reach out to you and try to get you on a Sunday to record the podcast, and I love the comment that you made, and you was like, man, I'm a football guy. And Sundays are reserved, man. And I remember the first I actually told you because when I was working at the movie theaters, and I remember like back when Monday Night Raw, because I'm a big wrestling fan, and Monday Night Raw was really popping. So I used to say I could not work on Mondays because I had to come up with an excuse why I cannot work on Mondays so I could come home and watch a Monday Night Raw. That's how big of a wrestling fan that I was, man.
See,
That's
man,
that.
I can understand. I understand. I can relate because when it comes to football, I kind of center a lot of things around it. It's just what I enjoy, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful that I married someone who likes the sport as well. But even when she's not in the mood to watch football, she respects the fact that I like it. So she'll go about her business and do whatever she wants to do and give me my space to watch it. So yeah, it's a big deal for me. But after what February 13th or whenever the Super Bowl is, I don't know what I'm gonna do for 6 months.
Also, is it really that bad for you during the off season?
And I usually manage to get through, man. I mean, I'll watch a little basketball and then I'll find other things to buy my time with. I'm never one to be bored. Plus, I have my podcast to keep me busy and things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll make it, but it'll just change drastically my weekend plans because now I have to find something to do outside.
Okay, yeah, gotta definitely find something to do now on the off season and stuff, man. Well, Quincy, once again, I appreciate you joining me here on the 11:30 podcast this week. Just moments ago, I was mentioning, a big wrestling fan I was. I want to also thank you for hooking me up with my guy Brian Young, who came on and talked pro wrestling. Who was an awesome guest, to talk about his amazing book. How did you guys connect and stuff? Because he was an amazing guest.
And man, Brian is the real deal, man. He's my brother from another mother. I actually met him. We used to work together, and
Okay.
his brother was my boss. And we became really cool. We're big boxing fans, and so I went to New York to go to the Boxing Hall of Fame, and I met up with them. That was my first time meeting Brian. I met up with them up there, and we just kicked it out. We just had a great time. We had always communicated a little bit via instant messenger at work, but it was our first time hanging out face to face. Had a great time at the Boxing Hall of Fame, hanging out. Got to hang out with the legendary Burt Sugar, who's one of the legendary boxing sports writers from back in the day. And they were all friends. And ever since then, man, we've just been thick as thieves, And he's a really good guy. He's one of the most intelligent guys you'll ever want to meet. I mean, he's super funny, but that kind of masks how smart he is. I mean, the dude is a walking encyclopedia. And
Mm-hmm.
so he's full of all kinds of historical knowledge, not only with just wrestling, but a plethora of other things. And so he's just a really good dude, and I love him to death, man. And I can't wait to get back up to New York and hang out with him and his brother Kevin again.
Hey man, that got to be awesome, man. He was really knowledgeable guest, like you said, a walking encyclopedia, just about everything, man. But I definitely one of the reasons why I brought you on, definitely also to thank you, man, for hooking me up with Brian because he was a definitely great guy to chat with here on the podcast, man, for real. But you guys, man, we're gonna move on here on the podcast since I got my awesome guest Quincy. Can you tell everyone, all my listeners and viewers, a little something about you?
All right. Well, about me or my podcast or
We gonna get to the podcast show just in just a bit. Just
okay.
you.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm 50 years old, born and raised in the deep South. I'm outside of Jackson, Mississippi. HBCU guy. I went to Mississippi Valley State University. It's about 200 miles north of here. Recently married back in October. This is my second marriage. I was married for 10 years back in 2002, but she passed away from breast cancer in 2012. And so after, a few years of trying to sort myself out, I got back out there and met a wonderful woman and So decided to give it another try. And I don't have any kids, but I have two god kids, 18 and 15. And they mean the world to me. I'm not really comfortable with the fact that they've grown up so fast, but that's just how it goes. But and I have a dog. I have a dog who's a year old. His name is Peanut, and found him nearby. Some people just dumped some puppies out, and left them in the neighborhood, and we just happened to come across them. And so I gave his brother to my dad, and I kept him, and it wasn't intentional, but the little dude's grown on me. He's a Beagle Dachshund mix, and he keeps me occupied throughout the day. And I mentioned that I have a sports habit outside of that. I like to watch a little TV. I was a big Game of Thrones guy back in the day, but now I'm into, the Power series. I like my Marvel movies and a good sitcom whenever I can come across it. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell, I guess.
Okay, I dig it, man. I really, really, really do dig it. So you're a pet parent also?
Yeah, man. He's a handful, but he's a funny dog, very smart. He's super funny, but he demands a lot of attention.
Yeah. I'm a pet parent also. I got a cat though. I got a cat, Lennox though. He just be all over the place. Sometimes when I get a little bored in the house, and I'll be like, well, he definitely will keep me busy though. Definitely will keep me busy. Onto another thing, man. Sorry for your loss on that. How did you deal with that? Because I understand, for a long time, you was
thank you. It's just something that takes time. There's really no specific way to grieve. And I mean, she got diagnosed a year after we got married. She fought it for 9 years, and it just seemed as if she was going to get past it, And then we went on vacation for her birthday and 1 October to San Diego. And when we got back, she went to the hospital for something we thought would be routine, and she never checked out. She was there for 30 days until she passed away. Everything just went downhill. And when something like that happens, you just feel empty inside. I had just lost my mother 5 months prior to that, to cancer as well. So, you just feel empty, and you just kind of have to just take time and just let those wounds heal as best as they can. And then you got to get back out there and move on, man. You got to play the hand that you're dealt, because the world doesn't stop when things go wrong. You just got to keep it moving. Don't let it consume you.
Mm-hmm. Definitely looking right about that, man. Sorry for your loss, man. That was a really real powerful stuff to say, man. But you've been doing your thing with the podcast and the radio show for about 10 years now, right?
Yeah, coming up on year 11, February the 20th, and it's really been therapeutic for me. I really threw myself into my podcast after all of that went down, and it kept me occupied. It kept my mind occupied. It kept me going. And it was, like I said, like therapy for me in a lot of ways. And it's something that it was kind of like a bucket list item that I just wanted to do. I started back in 2011 just because I had the opportunity to go online and do a talk show. I've been a fan of talk shows all my life, for the most part, AM talk shows back in the 90s and things of that nature. And so when I got the opportunity to do the show, I did a 15-minute rant. Nobody listened. But ultimately a friend of mine heard it, and they were like, oh, that was pretty cool. Invite me on the show and let me talk. So I invited a couple people on, and the next thing you know, 2 episodes turned into 10 turned into 50, and on and on. And now I think I just finished episode number 975. And so it's still going. It's still a lot of fun to me, and I hope to continue to do it for another 10 years.
Yeah, man. I definitely hope you continue doing it for another 10 or 20 years, man. Like, I listen to it, I love it, I dig it, man. How did you start it? Like, what got you going into the Talk to Q radio show?
I had a blog at first. I still have a blog called it's at www.thankq.me. And I just went on there and I just rant about whatever it is I wanted to discuss, whatever I wanted to get off my chest. Be it something going on in society or something going on regarding relationships or things of that nature. And I just thought that I could reach more people, or maybe be more able to express myself by having a show. So when I started the show, it was called the Thank Q Show. And after about 9 or 10 episodes, I changed the name because it became more fun to get other people's opinions. And so I started bringing on more callers, because it was a call-in radio show. So I started bringing on more callers and soliciting more people to come on to get their opinion, because I felt like it was more fun listening to them than it was just for people to hear me talking. And so I changed the name from the Thank Q Show to the Talk to Q Show, because, you know, it wasn't about me, it was about the people. So I wanted them to talk to me. And it just took off from there, you know, and it just became a lot of fun. I've met a lot of people over the years. I've networked with a lot of people and made relationships that are still true to this day. And I've got to interview some interesting people too. I had Mama Joyce on from, you know, Real Housewives. I had her on, and a couple of other, you know, people who have been on TV. And just recently, I was watching. There's a new sitcom out called Abbott Elementary, and there was a former two-time guest of my show who was on there last weekend, played the role of a young lady named Amber. So it's kind of cool when you get to see some of the people you've spoken with go on to do other things. A lot of the guests I had who were once callers went on to do their own podcast. Some of them got together and did podcasts together, you know. So it's just cool to know that I had somewhat of a hand in all of that, or at least was a part of that.
Definitely. Man, me getting into podcasting, that was my whole, you know, that was the thing behind it. Just getting on camera, or just, you know, just getting stuff off my chest, you know, and just whether anybody listen to it. And I know that's the hard thing about it in the beginning, because you may just get 5 listeners, you may get 0 listeners though, but you know, you just got to keep pushing. And a lot of people that I've had on my podcast as well, you know, went on to create their own podcast, because I was like, man, you got a great, you know, knowledge and great, you know, mindset of, you know, of everything that you're talking about, man. You should create a podcast. And my guy Taye Uhuru, shout him out. He's doing wonderful, you know, wonderful with his podcast, and just a bunch of other people. So that's amazing, man. Really amazing. Talking about your radio show and your podcast, I was checking it out and I was listening to it, and one topic that stuck out to me that I, you know, was like, I think that'd be an interesting topic to talk about on the podcast. And you were talking about, it was a topic on your show, asking, you know, women for money. And I'm not the type that would ask my woman for money, or my mom. You know, I don't know, is it pride? I don't know what is it, but just me and myself knowing that I'm a man and I want to, you know, be the provider, or, you know, whenever my mom or, you know, someone needed, I'll be able to, you know, have it for them, and not more so any other way around, as, you know, a grown 30 man, you know, year old man, you know, asking, you know, a woman for money and stuff like that. You know, is it pride, or, you know, what is it that, you know, men don't want to ask women for money?
You know, I think for a lot of people it is pride, and I don't think it's anything wrong if it's just a necessity. You know, if you have a situation where, and you got, pardon me, my allergies are getting to me. If you have a situation where you just got to have it, or you're going to get evicted, or maybe you need to get your car fixed so you can go to work and make money, or something of that nature, sometimes you got to just put your pride down and ask for it. But where I guess I don't really care to see guys do is when you do it for something like, hey, babe, I want some shoes. So can you give me some money so I can get some shoes? Or can you give me some money so I can get this, you know, get Madden on the PlayStation, or something like that? That's kind of where I have a problem with it. I think that guys should be able to establish themselves in society, make their own money, and be able to provide. And you shouldn't have to leech off of a woman or something, or anybody for that matter. I mean, and in order for you to just have certain luxuries in life, that stuff should be reserved for when you just absolutely just have to have it.
Yeah, exactly. But, and you know, with me, it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing where, you know, I gotta have it or anything. It's just me. Even, you know, if I may want, you know, just the littlest stuff, I don't even like asking. I don't even like asking my woman for, you know, no money. You know, I feel more, you know, proud and more of a man or so when she be like, hey, baby, you know, if you have anything that I can, you know, get something from the store, be like, cool, yes. Or especially, you know, my mom or something like that. But definitely, me, I would want to be able to, you know, earn my own money, or, you know, have my own money, so, you know, I can, you know, do what I want to do. not leech off the next person or something like
Yeah, it kind of makes you feel more fulfilled as a man, so to at least in my opinion. And I'm old
that.
school. That's just the way I was raised, and so I just feel like that. It just I feel more of a man being able to say that, hey, I can provide for others rather than they provide for me. I mean,
Hmm.
that's kind of the definition of a child when you look at it. You can't care for yourself.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Definitely right about that. You just said something about old school, man, and with a lot of people, they old school, and with relationships and with social media and everything like that, is totally changed. Everything is just it's a new generation. Well, another topic, the imagination, of of a woman, a body or anything like that. It's just always put out there on social media. It's nothing, for the man to guess or to wonder what he gonna get. It's already out there now. How you feel about social media and stuff like that? Do you feel like it just ruined everything?
Uh, well, yes and no. I hate to just blame social media. I think it's more. I don't think it's more social media as it is the way we handle social media, because it just kind of got dropped on us and no one knew what to do with it.
Mm,
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there are no classes that teach you social media etiquette in school and things of that nature. So when social media came about, 15 to 20 years ago, we were all kind of brand new on how to handle it. And a lot of people handled it the wrong way. And it just became a thirst trap when it comes to relationships. So you have guys who are going to flex with money and cars and things of that nature to try to look a certain way. And you have the women who are going to take the back shots and have all the skin showing because they're trying to get the attention of men. But I guess what people fail to realize is that not all attention is good attention.
mm.
And the type of people who are attracted to those type of things are usually the type of people who are going to leave you frustrated, in a relationship. So I do think social media has really changed things, but I don't blame it. More so, I blame our inability to handle it.
Okay, okay. Has it become over sexualized?
Definitely.
Mm,
Definitely. Um, I mean, people don't even need TV anymore. I mean, basically
yeah,
anything you want
yeah.
is on social media, all the way up to soft porn. So it's definitely over sexualized. And it's unfortunate because you see people who were way too young. You see a lot of parents let these teenagers have accounts, and these teenagers are doing things that they shouldn't even be thinking about. And
Hmm.
so it just reaches a younger age and makes it even more difficult to get over some of the pitfalls we have in society already with teen pregnancies and STDs and everything else that's problematic in the world. I mean, social media really kind of it has become a conduit for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And all the Instagram models and everything, they put it out there, as flaunting and all the followers and putting it out there as, hey, you can make all this money, on OnlyFans and all these other websites. So it is really a change the game. Like you said, you don't even need a TV no more. You
You
got your
you
phone right
don't.
here.
And then you talk about people are changing their bodies to try to compete.
Mm-hmm.
You have people getting surgery for
Mm-hmm.
followers, and so it's so extreme now, and I feel badly for the people who have the botched surgeries and things of that nature because it was just, and a lot of them are already good looking, but they just want
Mm-hmm.
that extra boost, and it's just, oh man, it's sad. It's
Yeah, it
really
really is.
sad. People aren't
Yeah.
happy with themselves.
Exactly. You got to be happy with yourself, man. That's gonna fall off in about 10 years, probably less than that. It's gonna fall off and look real ugly. So, just be natural, though. Like, yeah, that's what I think. I think social media, as far as the Instagram models, definitely became over sexualized and made it so accessible for the youth to gain access to it and be like, yo, this is cool. I'm doing it. You can do it, and it's crazy. It is. It
Yeah.
really is. But you guys, man, we're gonna move on here on the podcast, man. Quincy, I was checking out your podcast, your awesome podcast. Can you let my listeners and viewers know when they can catch you and chat up with you with Talk to Q radio show?
Well, again, I appreciate it, man. I have a website at www.talktoq.com, but I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at TalkToQ. I recently started a TikTok where I play clips of my show um, at Talk to Q now. But I'm on YouTube and Apple, Spotify. There's an audio version and a video version of my podcast. And check out the show. Check out the archives. Like I said, I'm up to 975 shows, so there's plenty of material for you to check out. And I'll discuss anything. There's not too much I haven't talked about, from race relations, to teenage pregnancies, and we do it all. We have a lot of fun. It's not a serious talk show. It's very unorthodox and informal, but we have a lot of fun. I have a lot of great guests, some smart people, very insightful. And even if you don't agree with them, just listen to their perspective and know that there are people out there who have that mindset. Because the motto of my show is no experts, just opinions. And that's all I want. And anybody can be a part of the show. So holler at me, reach out to me if anybody wants to be a guest, and I'll bring you on and we can chat it up.
Hey man, that's what's up. That's what's up. You're up to over 900 episodes, man. That's a lot of work. I just celebrated my 100 episode, man. So that's a long way. Thank you. That's a long way to go, but keep it up, man. And I know that takes a lot of dedication and hard work, man, for real. But you guys, man, we're having fun here on the 1130 podcast, and I got my guy Quincy here chopping it up with me, man. But you guys, man, we got more of the show coming up. We got the 1130 podcast hot seat. We got the WTF moment coming up next. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, you guys. And when we come back, we got the more of the show. We're gonna keep it rolling on, man. For real, you're listening, you're watching to the 1130 podcast. You did.
TV is killer, but the way we watch it is not. So, let's do something else.
Like what?
Like channel surf with a swipe.
What are you talking about?
Talking about watch live TV wherever.
Like a food court, sir?
Sir.
Out of town.
I know. TV like actually made for us. Finally. Yeah, finally.
Yo, what up? This your boy Kenneth Stones, aka Coffee Weaston.
This your boy D.O.E. Good Brother Bold.
And we are the Dirty Hills. You already know, man, you tuning in to 1130 podcast. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Dude, that's my job. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Yeah. And you have been Dirty Hills approved.
Yo, you guys, man, we back here on EB Radio and YouTube. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the commercial break, man. For real, I got my amazing guest here, man, Quincy, the host of Talk to Q Radio Show, man, joining me here, having some fun, talking about everything, man, here on the 1130 podcast. Quincy, man, I always ask my guests each and every week when we back here on the podcast, what inspires you? What keeps you motivated? Because obviously something keeps you motivated. You're over 900 episodes, man, and killing it all the time. So what inspires you?
That's a good question. I guess I've always been one to have something to say. I've always had an opinion. But I guess what inspires me to keep going is that I like to learn. Okay, and the best way to learn is to listen. And so by having so many people come through on my show and getting opportunities to speak to them and pick their mind on certain topics, it allows me a chance to grow myself. So I think that the inspiration I receive actually comes from others sharing their knowledge with me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like that. I definitely do. On my podcast, man, each and every week, I always, try to have a guest and always let them talk, and I always find myself learning something from them, whether they're, older, younger, or whatever. Majority of the time is someone older, I always seems to have a thing, where I connect with older people a lot, They say I have an old soul or something, but yeah, man, it's awesome to have people like yourself here on the podcast that you know, just to share your story and, you know, to talk about, you know, what you got going on. And I also allow my guests, because that was one thing that I had a guest on, and I learned a lot about just let my guests talk. You know, just don't try to overtalk them, and just, you know, just let it be free will. So I definitely dig that. Definitely dig that. But you guys, man, we're gonna move on here on the podcast. You guys, man, it's time, you guys, for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yes. WTF moment of the week. Each and every week here, Quincy, man, I deliver a WTF moment, something you may have seen, heard, whatever the case may have been. You know, if you have a WTF moment of the week you would like to share?
Off the top of my head, wow, nothing comes to mind. Oh, well, you know, it's been so much craziness going on. Uh God, I don't know, man. You may have me on that one, Dre, as far as craziness, because I mean, so much of everything that I've seen crazy has been sports related lately.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's happened outside. I guess. No, I guess I don't have anything, man. I guess I don't have anything unless we get into sports, because that's what I've been consumed with for the last 72 hours, you know.
Okay. Any WTF moments that have been going down in sports though?
So, well, I think Sunday Night Football between the Chargers and the Raiders was really crazy down the stretch, and it seemed like the coach of the Chargers, Brandon Staley, was doing what he could to lose that game. Man, he's one of those coaches who believes in analytics, and he thinks that he's so smart that sometimes he makes decisions that people question. And they had an opportunity to make the playoffs last night. All they had to do was not lose. Even if the game would have ended in a tie, they would have made the playoffs. And it looked like the Raiders were content to let the clock run out, and Brandon Staley called timeout and stopped the clock. And that gave the Raiders an opportunity to draw up a play to get a little closer, to kick a game-winning field goal and eliminate them, you know, from playoff contention. And it was just mind-boggling to think that this guy stopped the clock with an opportunity to just get a tie and be able to move on to the next level of the playoffs. And instead, he's so smart, like I said, that he comes off kind of dumb sometimes, and everyone is scratching their head, you know, trying to figure out why in the world did he do it.
Yeah, I was watching that game, man. In the commentaries was going crazy. They was like, "Well, this is very interesting. I'm definitely trying to figure out why, you know, he called timeout." They were saying both teams, if it, you know, ended in the tie, both teams would, you know, wind up, you know, going to the playoffs, right? And Pittsburgh will be an out. And you know, after the game, you know, David Carr was just like, "Yo, I didn't want it to end in the tie." You know, as a football player, you know, you don't really want it to end in the tie, really, right? You know, you kind of like want to go for the, you know, the winning, you know, either field goal or the winning shot,
especially against your rival.
Exactly, especially against them. And then what made it so fitting that, you know, we just lost John Madden a couple of weeks ago, and you know, the Oakland Raiders, this was the second time being into the playoffs in a long time, you know, so. I think, you know, they may got a chance. Let's see where it goes, though. Definitely see where it goes, though. All right, you guys. My WTF moment of the week. I got two of them, Quincy. First up, here on the East Coast and just about everywhere in the country or in the world, so to say, it's getting cold. Frigid temperatures. They are here for real. Get you a hoodie for real. 11:30 podcast hoodie. So you can stay warm, but nonetheless, the winter is here. And last week, man, on the highway, like a bunch of people, I'm talking about a bunch of people got stranded for more than 24 hours on the highway because of the snow. Now, last Monday, I woke up, you know, but now it's the social media, you know, got on social media, saw my guy, A Millie post, and he was like, "Man, look at this." And I turned around, look out the window. I was like, bro, like, wow. That, you know, anytime they say it's going to snow in DC, it's like 3 inches, 2 inches. We get a little bit, but this time, man, it was like 8 inches out there. And I know to some people that ain't nothing though, but it shut down the whole Monday last week, and it shut down that whole highway, and a lot of people couldn't get home at all. Man, people were stranded.
Welcome back. As questions remain unanswered about what went wrong on Interstate 95 in Northern Virginia, what we do know is the interstate through Prince William County and further south to Fredericksburg, including Stafford, was not treated ahead of Monday's storm. We asked the Commonwealth's Department of Transportation about this on Fox 5 yesterday. Here's their answer, plus the science behind it all.
We could not pre-treat because it started as rain. That doesn't impact much of anything. But I think people were used to seeing those white brine lines and didn't see them and became a little concerned. But so we got a lot of heavy snow in a very short period of time, and that accumulated. There were a lot more people on the roads than should have been or that needed to be.
Frightening, to say the least. Meanwhile, in a statement released before the storm, Virginia's Department of Transportation said they had no plans to pre-treat roadways as the storm was expected to start as rain, which minimizes the effectiveness of anti-icing materials. That is the assertion coming from Virginia's Department of Transportation.
Man, that was crazy right there. WTF moment all the way, man. I was like, what? Like, I can't remember who I was talking to, man. I was like, man, did you see that? Did you see them people get stuck? Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, people were running out of gas. Obviously, they were hungry, got kids in the car, pets in the car. Like, man, WTF. I hope everybody out there stay warm. Like I was saying, get you a hoodie, man, for real. At the 1130 Podcast Apparel store, for real. Click the link in the bio on Instagram. All right, enough of that. All right, another WTF moment, second WTF moment. Man, once I saw this story, I was just like, WTF, man. Like, this got to be one of the WTF moments. If not the WTF moment of the week, man, a 15-year-old boy, man, I can't think of his name right now, man, but 15-year-old boy from Maryland, saw the news, last week, and 15-year-old boy shot and killed his mother and his brother.
We are back with a family tragedy in Prince George's County. A 15-year-old boy is accused of killing his mother and 8-year-old brother.
His father was also shot last night, and in a Fox 5 exclusive, our Sierra Fox spoke with him.
Well, this is where investigators say a 15-year-old boy shot and killed his own mother and brother. I just spoke with his father on the phone. He's actually serving in the United States Army. He's a real estate agent and pastor, and says his own son shot him twice. He just got out of surgery. As you can imagine, he's in a lot of pain right now, but wanted to tell me what happened.
The TV was on. I just heard these pop sounds. I thought it was a TV, and I looked to my right, and I noticed that my son was shooting my wife across the room. And then he shot my 8-year-old, and then I realized what was happening. I jumped up to confront him, and he turned the gun and shot me twice, and I seen that the gun went empty, and he threw it down. I chased him to the front door, and I grabbed him, but I couldn't grab my right hand because it was broken.
Mr. Oxley says when his son ran out the door, he dialed 911 and tried to render aid to his wife, 44-year-old Talidia Oxley, and son, 8-year-old Aza Oxley, but they didn't make it. Here's surveillance video from a neighbor. This is when Prince George's County Police found the 15-year-old suspect in the neighborhood last night after the deadly shooting that happened just before 6 in the evening on Windy Street in Clinton, Maryland. Mr. Oxley's 2-year-old was asleep on the floor during the violence, and 19-year-old son was upstairs in his room. Both of them are alive. He says his son, who is the suspect, is named Israel Oxley and is a student at Frederick Douglass High School. Police say he is charged with first and second degree murder, first and second degree attempted murder, and other related charges. Neighbors say it just shows you never know what's going on behind closed doors.
They were actually pretty good people. They were quiet. They really stayed to themselves. You didn't hear a lot from them. The kids were not rambunctious or anything running through the neighborhood. So it's just unfortunate that this happened. I know they have a long road ahead of them.
You may be wondering, why did this 15-year-old allegedly turn violent on his own family? Well, his father tells me back in October, his son threatened to kill him with a knife, and police responded to their home. After that, he was sent to stay with his grandma. They just let him live back at the home again after Thanksgiving with restrictions such as limiting his cell phone and internet use. His father thinks that made him upset, and he was also hanging out with the wrong crowd.
These drugs that these kids are getting on is onto their state of mind, their social media. They're hanging out with their friends, and if there's an issue, get it addressed right away. I mean, we tried to get it addressed right away. We just couldn't seem to get the right help.
The father there says that the gun used in this tragedy was his and it was registered.
You know, we don't know what happened in the house. You know, the gun was the father's gun. You know, to all the parents, I had this conversation numerous of times on the podcast, man. Like, yo, if you got a gun in your house, man, lock that joint up, put it up away. And, you know, you got certain parents who may show them their kids, you know, how to use it or whatever. I don't know about this. I really don't. It's just when I saw this, I was like, bro, that's a WTF moment all the way, bro. Like, for real, the 2-year-old was on the floor asleep. The 19-year-old was upstairs. And, you know, the father was just like, man, I'm just sitting there chilling. And announced to me, I turn around, and look, and I see my 15-year-old son shooting my wife and his little brother, 8-year-old little boy. Like, what? Bro, like, man, these sick times we live in, man, and man, it's crazy. It really is, man. WTF, man. For real. Quincy, man, your WTF moment was real dope, man. Mine was weird. Mine was weird, but WTF, you guys. WTF. But you guys, man, we're gonna move on here on the podcast, man. I just spoke on John Madden. I was talking about it last week. Any favorite moments of John Madden, you know?
Oh man, John Madden. I'm 50 years old, so I kind of missed his coaching career. I kind of came in on the tail end of that, but I remember him most as a broadcaster, as a commentator, and the Thanksgiving games that he used to do. And as a Cowboys fan, they always played on Thanksgiving, and so throughout the 90s, I got to enjoy him and some of the crazy commentary that he had, because what I guess I really liked about John Madden is that he actually taught the game of football while he entertained. A lot of the modern day analysts, they're really technical about things, and the casual fan may not be able to appreciate what's going on. But John Madden would break it down so that anyone can understand what was going on, and he would make it funny. And he and Pat Summerall were one of the best booth tandems in the history of sports, in my opinion. And I never heard anyone say anything bad about the guy, you know, which is, you know, of course, when people pass away, everyone says something nice. But when he was alive, you never heard anything bad, you know. And so he just seems like a good guy, just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the game of football. And his presence will be missed, even though he really wasn't in the forefront of things. But his presence will be missed. And I think it's really cool that they had that documentary on his life. And he got to see that, you know, just a few days before he died. It aired a few days before he died. So it's cool that he got to see that documentary that was definitely well-deserved about his life.
Yeah, definitely well deserved. I watched the awesome documentary, really awesome documentary. I remember more so, like you said, on commentary as well. I didn't see as much of his career. You know, I'm a young cat. I'm 30 though, but you know, I seen him, and definitely in the video games and everything. You knew who he was, and obviously, you know, that's John Madden. You know, so definitely sad that, you know, we lost a legend in football. But you guys, man, we're gonna keep it going on here on the podcast, you guys, man. It's time for the 11:30 podcast hot seat. Right, all right. It's time for the hot seat, you guys. Quincy, I got 6 questions for you, and we're gonna roll with it. All right. Here we go. What names were ruined for you because you knew someone terrible with that name?
Hold on, say that one more time.
What names were ruined for you because you knew someone terrible with that name?
I don't know if I have one that will just ruin for me, but if I had to pick one off the top of my head, I'm going to say Monique. I'm going to say Monique. I've had 2 Moniques in my life that have caused a lot of this gray hair that you see right here.
Okay.
So those are probably 2 names that are ruined it for others as far as that's concerned.
Okay, Monique. Okay. What do you think a person is? When do you think a person is really ready for marriage?
That's a good question. I think you're ready for marriage when it becomes more about the other person's happiness than your own. Now, that doesn't mean you sacrifice your happiness, but it means that your happiness is not in the forefront of your mind. Um, when you find yourself thinking about, well, as a guy, because it may be different for women and for men, but as a guy, I knew I was ready for marriage when I spent most of my day trying to figure out how I could be with my significant other. How can I make plans to be with her? What can we do this weekend together? And you find yourself making certain sacrifices, and it doesn't have to be anything big. I made some simple sacrifices. Like, for example, she's a big fan of horror movies. I can take or leave horror movies. It's not that big of a deal. But if it meant spending time with her, I watch the horror movies. So when you find yourself doing certain things to cater to the other person's happiness, I think that's when you know that maybe you have something there. But when you're in the process of doing that, you're not losing yourself. You're still who you are, but you make subtle changes to make the other person happy.
Okay, I dig that. Really, really do. What do you think? What do you think people really need to chill out about?
Oh, where do I start? I guess politics in general. I mean, I can be specific as far as, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, or I mean, everything gets politicized, and I just wish people would just take a chill pill about, because I'm a Republican, they can do no wrong, or because I'm a Democrat, they can do no wrong. I wish they would look at things at face value and make decisions based on what they're seeing as opposed to their affiliation. So I really wish people would kind of chill out on the politicizing of everything, because you got people on airplanes fighting over, somebody should wear a mask and stuff like that based on what they saw on Fox News or MSNBC and all that stuff. And man, it is way too much. People are literally fighting over politics.
Yeah, it really is, man. It's sad. I saw that and I was like, really? And my guy was on last week, and he was chatting about, actually his WTF moment was someone who had COVID and they had a quarantine in the bathroom of the airplane or something like that. And
wow.
I was just like, wow, like it is really crazy what's going on too with the whole COVID and stuff like that. Yeah, don't wear a mask, wear a mask. So yeah, definitely understand what you're saying though. If you were the ruler of your own country, what would be the first law you would introduce?
Oh boy, if I would be the ruler of my own country, man, I like that question. Let's see. The first law I would introduce. God, that's a tough one as far as what would be the first.
Or if you have two,
I know one law I would introduce, just because I think it just kind of clears confusion. I feel like after every childbirth, there should be a mandatory DNA test. I think you should go ahead and get that out the way. Go ahead and make sure that the person who you say is the father. Cut down on confusion. No guessing around, no waiting 8 years to find out something's not right or something of that nature. So that'd be one thing I would do. Another thing I would do, I would limit price gouging. I would make it illegal. Like, for example, let's say a big concert comes to, the city of Detroit. I don't think it's right that, all right, you can be a hotel and go from a $99 a night hotel to $400 a night just because people are coming in town to watch a concert or the Super Bowl or things of that nature. I don't like how people are allowed to gouge like they do. Why is it that a ticket to see a show that's $50 face value is being sold at $350? And you have to pay those exorbitant amounts for things like that. I would cut down on all of that, man, some kind of way.
Yeah, you right about that, man. It's so much stuff, like especially like grocery stores and stuff. Like definitely in the beginning of the pandemic, they were definitely rising the price up. Just saying, what, hey, especially in the black neighborhoods. I know definitely for me though. You go to the store and stuff, you'll see something that was maybe $2 a week ago. And now, since the pandemic has gone up, now it's $7.50. You'd be like, hold on, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah, they got to put some kind of limit on that type of stuff, man.
Yeah, really do. Really, really do. Okay. What do you think the meaning of life is?
Well, I don't know if there's any one right answer to this, but to me, the meaning of life is being a service to others. Um, to to have a meaningful life is to leave a legacy, in my opinion. And a legacy doesn't mean leaving children behind or anything like that. It means leaving behind memories where people appreciate you for something that you did, something that you contributed that made them better, or maybe make society better, or something of that nature. So I think the meaning of life is to do for others. I mean, we're not supposed to just go through life only trying to satisfy ourselves. That's just not what I feel. I think that we're here to not only make the most of our situations and get some enjoyment out of it, but to bring enjoyment and make things easier for others. And we see time and time again how difficult life can be for some because other people are just trying to get it for themselves. And we see the rich getting richer, and the poor are struggling, and it's like no one cares because no one wants to be of a service to everyone or try to help everyone. I'm not saying that rich people should give poor people money or anything like that, but lend the knowledge, or afford some opportunities or something of that nature. And so yeah, I think it's being a service to others is what the meaning of life is for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, definitely. I like that. What advice would you give to the world?
Advice I would give to the world. It would kind of be something similar to the response I just have. It's not about you.
Okay.
It's not about you. We're so selfish today in society, and social media kind of helps to fuel that. And everyone is taught me, me, me. I mean, you think about how things are nowadays. Like, we wear earbuds when we go to, in public, so we don't have to talk to other people. Or, if you go to a doctor's office, you're playing with your phone because you don't want to be bothered with other people. And so we isolate ourselves and make everything about us, and that's just a problem. That's just a problem. I think people should take an opportunity to speak to others. Like, I'm that guy that will speak to somebody in the elevator. You know how you get in the elevator and people just want to sit there and just look up at the numbers and they don't want to speak to each other? I don't do that.
Well, why you think is that though? Because you got certain people who may just don't want to be bought. Like, why is that? Because me personally, like, if I when before the COVID and I get on the metro bus, I'm not the type of person that wants to talk to all 50 people on the metro bus, and people will be loud, and the conversations will just be like, I'm like, really? Like, can we wait till we get off the metro bus? Like, I don't really want to talk about that. Like, I don't have no problem talking to you, but
Yeah.
you sitting right there, I'm right here. Now we just loud, the bus driver right there, everybody in our business. Like, but why is that? Why are you think people just want to just be about me?
I don't. I mean, I'm not one to entertain an entire bus, but I believe in a situation in an elevator when it's just me and one other person,
Yeah.
and we're essentially in an isolated space.
Mhm.
I mean, you took however many thousands of steps that particular day to be in this particular space with me, and we have randomly appeared. Why not say good afternoon? I'm not saying have a conversation, but at least say good afternoon, how you doing, or something like that. And so that's how I look at it, because you never know what an interaction can lead to. Okay. You never know when an interaction can lead to that person. Matter of fact, I can give you a quick example. And a previous job that I had, I was supposed to be me and two other people. We were looking to hire somebody for a new position. And so I get in the elevator coming from lunch because I'm going up to get prepared for the next person coming in for an interview. This young lady gets on the elevator with me. I speak to her. She doesn't speak. Okay. So we go up to the same floor. We walk out, go into the same office. And then I ask her, is she looking for someone in particular? And she just kind of rolled her eyes at me. I guess she thought I was trying to flirt with her, And so imagine the look on her face when she came in for her interview and I was sitting behind the desk. Now, so that whole situation could have changed had she just been friendly enough to say good afternoon. you know, or when I asked her if she was looking for someone, or she could have said, no, thank you, I don't need any help, you know. So you never know how an interaction is going to impact your life. And it definitely impacted hers because she didn't get that job. I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but I'm just saying she didn't get that job.
Wow. I would assume she would not get that job. You feel me? You couldn't speak, like, you know, like that's already telling right there. Like if I'm on the other side of the job and I'm saying hello, I spoke to you twice. You rolled your eyes. That's already telling me you ain't got no good customer service.
Right. You don't have customer service skills, and then you might be kind of caught up in yourself because evidently you thought highly of yourself to think that I was flirting with you.
Exactly.
When I was simply trying to be of service.
Ain't that something? That is something else, man. Hey, yo, Quincy, man, I appreciate you joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast. Any goals? Anything you got, you know, planned for 2022? Anything special?
Well, I'm thinking around, if everything times out the way it's going right now, around July, I'll be coming up on episode number 1000. And I have no idea if I'm going to do anything special for it or what exactly I'm going to do. But I do look forward to reaching to episode 1000. I'm coming up on my 11th year anniversary next month, so I'm excited about that. But my goal for this year, outside of podcasting, man, I just want to travel a little more. You know, this pandemic has kind of kept everything kind of bottled up, and I haven't really been one to just get up and go. But I'm not really looking to get on a plane or anything like that. But as far as places within driving distance, I want to kind of get back out there. And one thing about being in the city of Jackson, Mississippi, is that we're in the center of everything. I'm, 3 hours from New Orleans, 3 hours from Memphis, 6 hours from Atlanta, 6 hours from Dallas, 6 hours from Houston. So I'm in the center of it all. And so I can just get up and go just about anywhere and be there in a nice short amount of time. So I want to kind of get back out in the streets a little bit this year and enjoy myself, go to a couple of sporting events or whatever it is, or me and my lady go somewhere, listen to some live music, something enjoyable like that. So that's what I'm hoping this year will bring forth.
Okay. Cool, man. 2022, man, it's looking up. It's looking up for a lot of people, and it's looking up. And some really big things is coming for 2022. I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate you, Quincy, for coming here on the 1130 podcast, just having fun and chatting with me. Before you go, any questions and shout outs, anything you'd like to say?
I just want to say, man, like I said, props to you. I mean, for hitting 100, because there are a lot of people, in this business. I've been in it for a long time, and there's so many people who never reached episode 10. So the fact that you're still grinding at 100 is great, man. And I look forward to you hitting that 1,000 mark someday in the future, Yes, but it's what I enjoy about your show is I enjoy your passion. And anytime you talk about wrestling, man, you get into it. I be thinking sometimes you're gonna come off the top rope yourself. And so I enjoy your passion, man. The interview you had with Brian, you mentioned Brian Young earlier, was great, and that was so enjoyable. And so keep doing what you're doing. But I want to shout out all those other great podcasters in the Pod Squad, Kaylee the Boss, Derek from the Relationship Gumbo, Erica and Gator from Dope Discussions Live. And man, there's some Queen Cole, Like the Path podcast. There's so many talented people out there who I wish a lot of folks would give a listen to, because it can really help you out. Angel Wright from Speak Up Sis, I forgot to mention her. It's just so much talent out there, and because people aren't mainstream or don't have 60 billion followers or something, people don't think that what they have to say is worthy. And that's not the case. I mean, these people are very knowledgeable, and it can really help some people figure out their lives if they just took time and paid attention to them.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right about that. Shout out to Erica Warren. Dope Discussions with Erica, Gator Live. Definitely had them on the podcast. We love to work with Erica again. I know she's a busy woman. Gator is my guy, always having fun chopping it out with wrestling. And you mentioned Angel Wright. I haven't worked with her, but since podcasting, I definitely seen her in the podcast groups a lot. So definitely got to make that happen. So definitely shout out to all those podcasters you just mentioned. And also shout out to you once again, Quincy, the host of Talk to Q radio show, man. one last time, tell my listeners when they can catch it and where they can follow you at.
All right. The show airs live every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So you can join the interactive chat room and give your 2 cents there, and I'll read your comments on the air if given the opportunity. And you can go to talktoq.com to get more information on the show. There's a calendar of upcoming shows and the topics we'll be discussing all the way up until March the 1st. And we have a really good time. So holler at me. Contact information is there as well. If you want to be a guest or suggest a show topic, I'd love to have you. Remember, no experts, just opinions.
You got it. Yeah, everyone who's listening and everyone who's watching, you heard it, man, from my guy Quincy. Talk to Cute Radio Show. Go subscribe to him on YouTube and follow him on social media. For real, go do it right now. Q, I appreciate you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for all the knowledge, man, and everything, and just having fun with me here on the podcast, man. Thank you so much, and stay safe and stay blessed. Keep doing your thing, my guy.
Thanks, man. You do the same. I appreciate you.
All right, no problem. Appreciate you for joining me this week here on the podcast. Yo, Quincy, I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for coming on the show, chatting with me, man, chopping it up, having some fun this week here on the 1130 podcast, my guy. Like, for real. A lot of people say, man, I'm an old soul. So, a lot of people that I chat with, that I vibe with, and I connect with, here on the podcast, man, it be older people, a lot of times, or just, even in the real world, like my guy was saying, and that brought up so much stuff, because when my buddy Aaron was around, and we'd just go out and stuff, and he'd be like, man, you don't like talking to people in public. Nah, it ain't like I don't like talking to people in public. It's just that, especially like on the bus, and we'd catch the bus to the store or something like that, and he's sitting across from me, and I'm sitting right here in the wheelchair spot. So I got to yell over because everybody in the back of the bus, they loud as I don't know what. So you telling me I gotta be loud as them? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna be ghetto like that. We can talk about whatever we need to talk about if it's that important when we get off this bus, man, for real. But yo, definitely feel what he's saying. Like, man, if we meet up at this certain point of the day, we in this elevator, hey, how you doing? Have a good rest of your day, et cetera, et cetera. Say something, and Shorty, that's why Shorty did not get that job. See, and that's why, like, you can't say hi to a woman, you can't say hello or whatever like that. They automatically think you trying to holler at them. Why ain't nobody trying to holler at you, Monique? Nobody trying to holler at your ass, for real. Hey yo, that was one of the names. He was like, you know what? I'm done with Monique. I'm done with it too. You done with it? I'm done with it. Hey yo, man, Quincy, I appreciate you for coming on the show. Talk to Q radio show. You guys tune in each and every Tuesday on YouTube or on your favorite social media platforms. Go tune in to them, you guys. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what it is. Go have some fun, you guys. It's not opinions. It's not experts. It's just opinions. Let me get it right. There's no experts, just opinions. Go check them out, man. Talk to Q radio show. For real. But you guys, man, this has been an awesome show. I just gotta let everyone know, man. I got some huge news to tell everyone, man. I ain't let it out yet. Everyone close to me and my family, of course, they know. But, for everyone else, man, I got some huge news that I want to tell everyone, my podcast family, here for everyone at EB Radio and everything, man. So, I really, hope we get there, for real. I can't wait. I cannot wait. But you guys, man, I'm about to head on out of here. It was another great week. The NFL playoffs is coming along, man. It's here this coming weekend. Just like me and Quincy was talking about that game this past Sunday. It was crazy, though, between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders, though. That was crazy. That went all the way down to the wire, though, for real. And my Ravens are out, so shout out to Ben Roethlisberger. This is his last season. Any game could be his last one, so I hope we go out with a bang, man, for real. Obviously, Lamar, he got injured, so we got to deal with what we got to deal with. But our season is over, so back to the drawing board, off-season bingo. But I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. I see everyone this Friday for Talk Pro Wrestling. Yes, man. Hope you guys stay safe, stay blessed. Give all the glory to God, man. For real. You know what time it is, man. Before I go, don't forget to follow the 1130 Podcast on all social media platforms. Follow the 1130 Podcast on Twitter at the 1130 Podcast. Like the 1130 Podcast on Facebook and follow the 1130 Podcast new Instagram page at the 1130 podcast _. If you see any other 1130 podcasts on Instagram, please make sure you block them and report them. It's not me. My other main page got hacked. So please follow my Instagram page at the 1130 podcast _. I appreciate it a lot, man. And also the 1130 podcast talk pro wrestling, like I said, this coming Friday with my guys Commission Talks. Blackheart and Warren Marlowe will be available this Friday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you can tune in on YouTube as well. I appreciate it a lot, for real. And also, you guys, man, make sure you subscribe to the 1130 podcast once again if you haven't done so already. And yo, man, I'll see you guys next week here on the podcast. I want everyone to stay safe. Once again, give all the glory to God. Won't he do it, man? Yo, it's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, and I'm out.